bird is hanging on a branch, it's not counting on the strength of that branch. It's counting on its ability to fly. And when I look at our continent, I look at our lives as African immigrants in America, I look at the things it would take for us to build the way some of the Northeast Asian tigers have built themselves over the last 50 years. Understanding that in the 60s, countries like Cameroon used to extend loans to South Korea. Countries like Cameroon used to extend loans to Thailand. And today they are the ones extending packages to help feed us for free called aid. What it is going to take for us to really rise above that threshold will require the ability not to feel pain with failure, but to gather the data, learn from it, and go again and execute with the belief that there is something more, that you are made for more. Most immigrants arrive the shores of America with a heightened and burning desire to do two things: elevate themselves, become successful with their lives, and also help transform the standard of living of their loved ones and close associates they left behind on the continent. But you know what? If most immigrants are not careful, they are going to end up depressed, dissatisfied with their life, angry and dejected. In this video, I'm going to be addressing some strategies by which, if used efficiently, it can help immigrants achieve their dual goals of becoming successful and also helping those on the continent and their loved ones becoming very successful. And most importantly too, if you stay to the end of this video, you will get 3 pieces of very valuable additional information that will completely give you a bigger understanding of some of the key things that you can do, not only to get ahead in these times, but to be able to secure growth in your personal development, investing for profits, and building a long-lasting legacy. I was in Washington, D.C. driving to go make arrangements to take him back home to lay him to rest. Boy, at that time I was working for one of the top technology consulting and manufacturing firms in the world, Oracle. And as I'm driving through New York Avenue in Washington, D.C., my manager calls me on the phone and he says, "Gustav, how are you?" I said, "I feel blessed today, Bob. Awesome day to be alive. How are you?" And he says, "I'm well, Gustav, but I got bad news for you. I'm sorry. I know your daddy died. You have to go bury your pops, but we got to let you go." For a second, I felt this rush of anger over me. My face blushed, and I had to clear off the road. And I thought for a few minutes. I said, "Gustav, now you didn't only lose your dad, who is your hero, but you're going to be coming back to America from laying him to rest without a job." But I took a deep breath. I said, "Gustav, who are you angry with? You gave them permission to feed you, so you gave them authorization to starve you." And that is where the mindset you talked about, understanding that we make money, not the other way around. Then I reminded myself, I said, "Gustav, about 16 years into your time in America, with all the gift, the knowledge, the expertise, the experience you have, you still need to count on somebody to feed you? That is an insult to God and the gift He gave you. That's an insult to all the body of knowledge, skill, and everything you've accumulated. Yes, if you were just coming in new, that could be understandable. But at this point in your life, you should be the ones helping other people to feed themselves. Otherwise, you would have rubbished the gift that has been handed to you on the golden platter." And I came back home after reflection and I told my wife, "You know what? I'm not going to work for nobody anymore, ever again. I'll sleep in the car, I'll sleep on the street, but I believe that what I have in me, the knowledge I've acquired, the experience I've acquired, if I can go through the pain it takes, if I can continue to bring in new education and execute on it and take action, there is some place on the top table for me." And it's interesting to have these conversations with people like you who have been through that journey, because it's a journey you must go through. That's it. When you talked about the fact that if you haven't lost money and don't worry about crying, if you haven't lost a job and don't feel like nothing changed, then you haven't gotten there yet. And the interesting thing, Dr. Jove, is because after going through that season, the things that stresses everybody no longer stress you. So it becomes a difficult time, especially like I remember the first many months. My wife couldn't understand. She thought I was crazy. She thought that I said, listen, honey, I said, listen, I have a 401k that can keep us going for another 1 year to 2 years. I'm ready to deplete that. I am not going to count on some 401k to provide me retirement when now with the skill I have and the knowledge I could provide better retirement. Because a bird is hanging on a branch, it's not counting on the strength of that branch. It's counting on its ability to fly. Right? And when I look at our continent, I look at our lives as African immigrants in America, I look at the things it would take for us to build the way some of the Northeast Asian tigers have built themselves over the last 50 years. Understanding that in the 60s, countries like Cameroon used to extend loans to South Korea. Countries like Cameroon used to extend loans to Thailand. And today they are the ones extending packages to help feed us for free called aid. What it is going to take for us to really rise above that threshold will require exactly what you said, which is the ability not to feel pain with failure, but to gather the data, learn from it, and go again and execute with the belief that there is something more and that you are made for more. You talked a lot today about mindset, which I enjoyed, because we live in a time today when there's always a lot of talk about mindset, but it is that important. Man, it sounds popular and mundane today, but that damn thing is really the fulcrum of everything, that belief system. I remember when I came to America, and in those early days, one of the things I noticed about my co-workers and people in this country is that they were just naturally courageous. Hey, who can do it? Hey, I think I can do it. Even if they don't know, they go and learn, right? And then we're sitting there, we have the expertise, we know how to do it, but we're not even courageous to say we know how to do it. Yeah. Right? We don't even feel confident in our own self. And I think part of it is that programming of perfection. You can only say you can do it if you think, but how do you know that you can do it? By trying and failing and learning and then getting the transformation which strengthens now your belief in yourself that you can deliver results. What if you lost your job today? How long will you be able to hang on? Is your emergency fund able to give you 6 months of leeway? Or are you like most people who, if they lose their job, they are 1 month away from financial disaster? Listen, I know you're working hard. I know you show up every day, but it doesn't feel like anything is changing. You feel stuck. And the reason why you feel stuck is because most people earn more, but lifestyle inflation eats it up. No one ever taught you how to build wealth. Your income isn't the wealth. Your income is a seed. It might not create freedom if you don't duplicate it. But here is the good news. Here is what I want to tell you today. I have created the Paycheck to Prosperity seminar, and I am inviting you to that seminar on Saturday, the 2nd of August, for a small investment of $97. You'll be able to break free from the paycheck loop and finally take control of your money. How to shift from saver to wealth builder with a proven intentional strategy. How to increase your income without quitting your 9 to 5 or working more hours. How to find your best path to prosperity based on your income, goals, and lifestyle. How to move from confusion to confidence with money decisions that build real wealth, and get practical tools and live support to build your system and stay consistent. If you're ready for that shift, don't hesitate. Click in the link below and go ahead and register for this life-changing seminar. I'll see you on the inside. In the time in which we live today, in the economy in which we live today, most people need to understand that things are no longer going to be like they used to be. You see, many years ago, think about it this way, many years ago, 25, 30 years ago, most people work on the same job for 40 years, retire, get a gold Rolex, and head back home. It's no longer like that anymore. You have to understand that things are changing very fast. Companies are looking at different possibilities to maximize their profits. And what that does is the number one priority for most companies is no longer the employees. It's now the stockholders. 40 years ago, the average disparity between the CEO of a company and the average paid person in the company used to be 20 times. So which means if the lowest paid person in the company earned $30,000, the CEO's salary was 20 times that, which is about 600,000. But trust me, in the time and age we live today, it's over 400 times. So what that means is, yes, capitalism is great, but there is also a certain element of human greed that starts showing up. So what that really means is, yes, you must love the job, love what you do, go to it every day, but also have a plan for yourself. I want you to understand what I am saying here, and I want you to understand that very clearly. For those who still work for other people, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Listen, let nobody come here on social media and start telling you everyone must be an entrepreneur, be your own boss. Forget it. Okay, 70% of people aspire to be their own bosses. Only 6% of people in America ever make it to that. If you are on the other side, making an income by yourself, independent entrepreneurship like some of us, it's okay too. But what I want to talk to you today about is the necessity for whatever side of the aisle you are on to make sure that you have a plan for your own self. Don't worry about the plan in the White House. Don't worry about Donald Trump's plan. His plan is his plan. If he wants to put tariffs and the courts can't stop him, so be it. That's what it is. What is your own plan? How are you trying to maximize the income you have? How are you trying to duplicate that? How are you trying to make sure that whatever it is that you're earning, a portion of it goes out to generate additional revenue for you? In recent years, there's been an outrage in some companies. People are being laid off because of AI, because of robots. Robots are going to be doing different things. You know why? Companies are going to lean in that direction, whether you like it or not. Because robots don't take a bathroom break, for God's sake. Robots don't take coffee break. They don't have sick leave. Robots don't take a vacation. So the reality of the matter is, we got to be cautious about these things. We've got to be able to look at ourselves, look at the mirror, and ask ourselves the question. If today you are called in your office and your manager says, hey, I'm sorry, we've got to let you go like it happened to me a few years ago, what are you going to do? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have a way to live for 6 months without complaining? 70% of Americans are one emergency away from a complete disaster. 80% of Americans cannot live beyond 1 month if they lose their jobs. Wherever you work today, you are a valuable employee there, but you are only as valuable as the company might need to cut down on their cost. You are only as valuable as the next time they find one person who can do 3 jobs in one. So I'm not saying this to do anything crazy. No, I am saying that you have the responsibility to prepare for that time when it comes. Don't wait for it to come and then you start preparing. I remember many years ago, this was early 2000s, I studied at the University of California in Berkeley, one of the top business schools in the world. I graduated from there, and 2 days later I was flying to Cameroon to go do business in Africa along with my uncle. We ran a company and I was working in that company as the director of marketing. I had a chance to travel everywhere in Cameroon over 5 times. All the regions, all the towns, all the divisions, all the villages, everywhere. I traveled Gabon, Congo, traveled all states in Nigeria and all major cities. I traveled Chad and all those places, trying to set up this business and build it. 3 years later, it didn't really work out as I had hoped. I had to come back to the US. I was angry, frustrated, I was broke. I had to file for bankruptcy. I foreclosed on 2 homes. I had to tell my family we have to shop in Goodwill for 3 years. I felt like I was a loser. I felt out and beaten. But you know what? At that time, there was a gentleman who started speaking to me. He started speaking to my life. He started speaking to my subconscious. He started speaking to that me that I thought was dead. That me that I thought had disappeared just because I had failed in something. He started reminding me that even when an eagle has a fracture and falls in the poultry, it will never become a chicken. And I want this to talk to somebody today. If you are in that space where you feel like you've fractured your wing, you are not a chicken. You might have failed at different ventures. You are not a chicken. You are an eagle. That gentleman, Jim Rohn, at that time I used to listen to his videos, which he recorded 40 years before. And he was still speaking to me at that time in my life. That's one of the rare times. Listening to people like Les Brown. Listening to people like Dr. Miles Monroe. I started understanding the power of choosing your work in this life. Keep your job, do your job, and make sure you do your work. There is a difference between your job and your work. Your job is what you're paid to do. Your work is what you are born to do. You can be fired from your job, but you'll never be fired from your work. You retire from a job, you never retire from your work. Your job is the fruit. Your work is the seed. Your work is what gives you a legacy. Your job is what gives you recognition. So I want to remind you that if this message touched you somewhere that you find valuable, I pray that you get encouraged today. That you don't throw in the towel. That you understand that even the tough times too shall pass. Even Donald Trump is going to leave the White House soon. But take advantage of what is happening. A lot of companies are on sale on the stock market. And tomorrow during the seminar, I'm going to teach you some techniques, some different ways by which you could get involved and start multiplying and growing whatever is coming in. I pray that you have a wonderful evening. You make sure you have a good Friday. And by all means, be well. But you know what? Even if I don't have a chance to meet you physically anytime soon, I don't know who might have spoken upon your mind or upon your life. What circumstance might have convinced you that you're not smart, you're not intelligent, that you're not educated, that you're not capable enough, that you are not enough. I want to remind you that yes, you are enough. That you're smart, you're capable, you're able. You are blessed with something that you could deliver on at a level of excellence that nobody else can. And that wherever you go, no matter the circumstances, make sure you try to be well, to be blessed, and by all means, don't stop being a blessing to somebody else.